Good morning. So today I have with me a Brompton. Another Brompton, yes. This one is an ARCC conversion. ARCC is a company in Cambridge that converts Bromptons and other bikes like Multons and other regular bikes into electric bikes. So if you're not up for a do-it-yourself job but you have a bike you like that you would like to be electric, they are the people to go to. So they've lent me this bike for a week so I could test ride it and let you know how it compares to the Brompton Electric. So I'm going to take you around Bristol today, put it through its paces, go up some nice hills along a single track and let you know what I think about it. So I'm just going to go over my setup for you today. I've got this beautiful all black Brompton 6-speed. With the ARCC conversion you get a motor in the front. You get this pod here and all the brains are in here, and then this is just a battery that is used by power tools, so very easily sourced, and they sell them with 4 amp and 6 amp, but it's also compatible with the 9 amp. Alright, so the cockpit, what have I got? So I've got the ARCC remote here, which is very handy, just slides in and out, and that's actually used to turn on and off. Do you see the lights have gone off there? And turn on. So that's how you turn motor on and off for the smart pod. And then I've got my phone here on a quad lock, and to be honest you guys, this quad lock I feel like it's really over engineered, but it's good quality, it's just overly complicated I think. But I have an iPhone here to compare the ARCC app with the ARCC remote. Now I like simplicity when I'm riding around cities, so I think I'll probably prefer the remote or nothing at all, to be honest. I'm testing also the Brooks C67 saddle today, and I'm carrying all my kit in my Marvin Frost & Seckers bag because obviously I have no bag on the front and I have camera kit. But the good news is that with this block you can actually mod your Brompton bags and continue to use them. So there's an adapter and then you just have to do a little mod and you can continue to use any Brompton bags you have and love, which is great news. So that's my setup today. Let's get going. First stop, coffee. Oh no. Sadly, one of my favorite coffee places in Bristol has shut. Weirdly, good coffee is hard to find in this area. I find that really strange. I was reminded of that when I was in the Lake District and Harrogate. Both of those areas had really good coffee and I struggle to find it here, strangely. Bristol, get your act together. Anyway, enough about my coffee rant. I am a coffee snob. So first impressions of the bike in the real world. It has 2 modes, just to let you know, auto and manual. So auto sort of determines based on what you're doing, how much power to put out automatically and adjusts the power. Manual uses the torque sensor to determine when to give you power, but you can tell it up to what amount of power. So there's, a range of power settings you can set it to and then ride on that setting. But the torque sensor still decides, kicking in because you're putting more pressure down and how much to kick in. And the quality of your sensors matters so much. I've ridden a lot of e-scooters and a lot of e-bikes now, and yeah, I can't tell you how much that matters to your quality of your ride. Torque sensors are a little bit more sophisticated than, say, cadence sensors on an e-bike, and it just gives you that little bit of better experience, I think. It's not horrible on a cadence sensor, but I prefer the torque sensors. So, with this bike, compared to the Brompton Electric, one of my only complaints about the Brompton Electric version of their electric bike is that kick in off the start to the point where sometimes the wheel spins out on you if it's, slippery conditions. This bike, the ramp up is so good, it's so impressive. I'm really, really impressed with this. Up next is hill test. So I'm going to be heading over to Constitution Hill, and the name tells you all you need to know about the hill. So here we are, Constitution Hill. It is as steep as it looks, probably steeper than it looks on camera. What I'm going to do is manual mode, auto mode. I'm not doing it with no assist. I've done it before. I know how hard it is on my road bikes. That's manual mode, full power. I can still speak to you. That's a good sign. At the top now. that's the hill test. Constitution Hill, a great hill. It was about the same in both manual mode and auto mode. I suspect auto mode is just giving you full power because you're pushing so hard on the pedals, but definitely easier than no assist for sure. I could still talk on the way up, slightly out of breath, but not anything like my normal when I'm at the top of this hill. Now the next stop is a single track here in Bristol and Ashton Court. So I'm here at Ashton Court. I'm going to do this small section of single track, which is usually in fairly good condition. I did check with ARC that they were okay with me taking their bike off-road. They're confident it can handle it, so let's give it a try. What I'm actually trying to test here is how solidly the battery is secure on the bike and, you know, making sure there's no rattles. I'm also testing to see in automatic mode how much in control I feel so that there's no surges of power or judders or anything like that. So that's what I'm testing. The single track test was a little bit more than I bargained for, but ARC, you're right, your bike can handle it. It's unscathed and it did great. There is no rattle on that battery. It is solidly attached to this bike, and the smoothness of the automatic mode is amazing. So it just feels natural. There's no surging of power. It just gives you power when you need it. I was coasting for a good fair bit of that single track, but when I did put the pedal down, there was no surge in power. I didn't have to scrub any power with the brakes. That's hills, single track control. Now it's time for lunch, and hopefully I'll be able to find a better coffee this afternoon, and just, yeah, we'll see how the range is on the battery, and that's sort of the next test. So I'm just going to ride around till I run out of battery. I think I've run out of battery. I'm going up the hill, so I really noticed it when it stopped. You don't think you're getting that much assist until you lose it. Pull over here. And should you want to ride without the battery, or you drain your battery, this bike rides just like a normal Brompton, just a little extra weight of the battery and motor. So I took the ARC Conversion on the train just to be sure it would behave just like any other Brompton, and it folds up just as a normal Brompton would, packs up under in the luggage compartment just as it should. And in fact, because the battery's so small, I didn't even find the need to remove it. It was manageable leaving it on, and it just kept my hands free, and it's just one less thing to worry about when you get off on the other end. So yep, just like a normal Brompton on the train. Another cool thing this bike does is it has this thing called launch control, which gives you an extra 3-second boost of power off the start. I'd really recommend flipping through their manual. They did a really good job on the menu. It's very clear, lots of pictures, and you'll probably find out some things that you may not have realized had you not read it. I've had a great day out on the ARC Conversion. I hit the end of the range. I have a spare battery with me because ARC kindly sent me 2 batteries because they knew the kind of distances I was covering today. And yeah, just swap them over. I absolutely love the concept of using Bosch batteries, Bosch Power Tool batteries. They're so easy to get. They're not terribly expensive. And yeah, they're just easy to swap out and easy to get chargers for. So I think that was a brilliant idea to use those batteries. And yeah, they don't take up a lot of room on the bike. They're not very heavy. So the original battery I had was a 4 amp. And now the second battery I'm using is a 6 amp. Riding home, the final leg of today's test. It's been a gorgeous day. Weather-wise, I've lucked out. So yeah, just gonna enjoy the ride. There's a couple of things worth mentioning about the ARC Conversion. The first thing is it comes with a 5-year warranty, and they have technicians trained around the country to be able to support you should you ever need help. In converting a Brompton, you actually void the Brompton warranty. So the other important factor of their warranty is they will warranty whatever you have left on your Brompton warranty. Alright, so I had a great day out. Just some closing thoughts for you guys and some things I think you'd be interested in. Let's start with the range. I had a 4 amp battery and a 6 amp. I started with the 4 amp and I got got my notes. I got 28k that day, and it was about 250 meters of climbing, so I was doing my hill testing and all of that, and there was a bit of a headwind. So a lot of things affect range on an e-bike, and they can include your tire pressure, the weight of the rider and what you're carrying, the terrain, obviously, how hilly it is, and what mode you're riding it in. So a lot of things can affect the range. On the 6 amp battery, I got 35 kilometers out of that one. So more than the 4 amp, but not that much more, surprisingly. I thought I would get even more. I used a mix between the manual mode and the auto mode. I preferred manual mode in about half of the power setting, so ramped it up to half. That's my happy place. It's actually interesting because on the Brompton Electric, I like the second level of power assist. So I like a good amount of power assist, but not crazy aggressive. And the auto mode just felt a little bit more, not really aggressive, but just you could feel it had more power behind it. So if you want to conserve battery power, manual is the way to go. The other interesting thing about these batteries, unlike the Brompton Electric battery, the 4 amp is allowed on most airlines. So if you want to travel with the electric version of a Brompton, this bike would allow you to do that and bring the battery with you. So that's an interesting thing to keep in mind. And should your battery run out, it rides just like a normal Brompton with a little bit of extra weight on it. There are a few areas I think ARC has actually done better than Brompton on this bike. The smoothness of the ramp up off the start, hands down, is better than the Brompton one. The convenience of the power tool batteries is pretty cool. And if you have a Brompton you already own and love, this is a way to get electric assist built in that with all the support you could want, and you can even test ride them if you'd like to try it before you send yours off. So they have test rides in Cambridge where they're based, and I believe sometimes in London. So get over to their website. They have an area to tell you all about how to get a test ride in. Thanks for watching. As always, until the next video.